So we all know who I am. I'm John Amendola, and once again, my good friend Mike Vernerva is the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Planetary, who are the illustrious creators of the iGuide, which is a local Canadian company. Myself and my good friend Mike Farrick from Look Inside, who manages the West End, we invested with these guys back in 2015, and today we're happy to say that we're one of, if not the largest provider of the service, at least in Ontario. So as we move through real estate into the commercial space, again, we just wanted to give you guys some space. So I'm pretty sure everybody on the call knows what iGuide is by now, but just in case you don't, it's a tool that measures interior space, a 360-degree view of laser-guided floor plan measurements, full integration with Google Analytics. And one of the coolest things, especially through the COVID epidemic, if you will, is the seamless 360-degree view. You literally can see from your top of your toes to the ceiling and everything in between. So when you're shooting space, make sure it's clean because you can see everything. So just again, a recap of the actual, the technology that we're using. There are other in the marketplace. We chose iGuide for a few reasons. Number one, it's a much more technical product. It's a much more accurate product on the measuring side, and floor plans, even in the world of COVID, are still more important to the end user than a tour. And then of course, more so than ever, the 3D 360 tour is limitless applications, and very important to us, they're a local Canadian company. So we wanted to, keep it local. So again, like we're talking about virtual tours way beyond just home sales. The application can be used for commercial, business, renovations, space planning, which again, I can't wait to hear about. And of course, rental properties. Some of the applications we can't show you, obviously they're private, but you understand in context. If you have an apartment building, you probably have the same 5 units. The amenities are all the same. So you can create almost like a storefront, if you will. Michael and I were just talking about this again. We can't really show the examples, but like viewit.ca tried to do, but where we can actually go to these units on this hosted platform and say, these are the 5 suites that we have for rent or for lease, and here's what the amenities look like, etc. So same idea, just a little bit different with some privacy there. And of course, virtual tours receive over 40% more clicks. Now, that stat I know, I didn't pull it last month. I think it's from some research we did at the beginning of the year. I'm going to go on a limb and say that number's probably doubled in the last 90 days, but whatever, even 40% is still wild. Virtual tours increased online bookings by an average of 85%. That was through a provider of service like us that did some data research in Canada last year. And that stat again, it could be 100% now. But again, 85% for me, it's as close to 100 as I need. 44% of businesses searches are driven by mapping. The iGuide technology has full Google integration. We're an authorized Google partner. Google loves this kind of technology. Google loves anything that's going to give you, first of all, Google loves anything that doesn't leave their one page. So your Google profile that comes up when people search, Google doesn't want you to leave their page. So when you type in weather into Google now, the weather comes up, not click here for the weather. Same thing with your Google profile. Flowers in Vaughan, and you're the local flower shop. 1 million flower shops are going to come up that are spending money, and probably 1-800-ROSES or whatever is going to be number one. But right here is going to be your little shop. And with a technology like the iGuide tour, the 360 tour, Google's going to give you premium organic reach, because this is what they want their, they want the consumers, really embracing the technology. So again, you have the ability to create a virtual tour of your office, your home, whatever you'd like. And you can embed these tours, like I just said, right into your Google profile and right into your website, which will show you some samples as we get along. Just going to have a quick drink. Here's a few samples. Michael's going to walk through these in a few minutes, and maybe some other ones, but just to give you some ideas. Office building. So again, from start to finish, here is, let's look at the space and see if it meets our needs. Right into Mike's going to show you, once the person moves in, now they can use the tool to further, expedite the process of getting them in the space. So the tool, and I speak to this all the time, is multifaceted and multi-use. You don't only have to look at it one-dimensionally. If we're looking at it in the real estate context, the homeowner, the new homeowner can take this and use it forever for things like renovations, or like we're talking about, let's rearrange the house and that sort of thing. So it's definitely not a one and done kind of product. This is great. The Google Business Tours, we're going to show you some of those. Like you can get right into the stores, you know, add it to Google, embed it on your site, and just basically overall increase your traffic. There's a lot of cases now where like an amped up GMB, Google My Business, Google profile is now superseding websites, especially in the retail world, bricks and mortar especially. That's the way to go now. Virtual showrooms, this is wild. And we did a few dealerships. Again, a little more of a private link. Mike does have one that he can show us that's online, which is this sample here. An Audi dealership, I think in Georgia. And it's again, pretty impressive. So how often does a car dealership change their inventory over? Probably once a year. So they probably only have to redo one floor of this tour every year. So, you know, what is the showroom? 40,000 square feet. So now their cost is a few $1,000s a year to be online. It's really a joke. But this is technology. This is what the world does. And there's some more amazing stats, you know, that show you right there. You know, the 360 degree, all this, you know, Mike's branding expert, look inside. He was ahead. We took the real estate angle from the very beginning, and Mike's a great mentor and leader, and he was already ahead of us. And now that's kind of where we are. Like, think about that look inside. It's all about the space. So I don't look at this and say we're in the real estate marketing game anymore. I say that we're in the 3D space capture game. So if you have a space inside and you want to show it to people, there's really nothing better. And we have now the ability to add outside space, a little bit different and limited, probably to, you know, maybe call it 100 meters. But I mean, if I can hit a pitching wedge into my, you know, in the back of my tour, meaning you have a great big backyard, we can now showcase that as well. So the dealership, you can get the car lot in there. It's really extensive what you can do. And we have the ability to stitch some aerial shots. So, you know, imagine it like a globe almost. If I'm this car dealership, I can literally get 360 inside and out and then go in it and actually immerse myself inside the space. So look inside. I can show you the outside and I can, you know, show it to you still in a 360 degree, but I can actually move around inside. One step further, maybe not ready for this. I think just more society in general, we still have a little bit of a ways to go in virtual reality, but the technology is also VR ready. So I don't have my goggles here. I'm at home, not the office today. But if I have my goggles on and I click the VR button, and especially if I'm geared right up, if any of you have children playing VR, you know what I'm talking about. Now I can actually walk through the showroom. First person versus seeing it on a screen, still getting a 3D approach. But, you know, so we're there. People say, oh, you know, this is a crazy story. I had a conversation with Gary Vee. I post it once in a while on my Instagram. A year and a half ago, or a year ago or 2 years ago, he was at Realtor Quest, and I had a conversation with him about virtual reality and augmented reality. And, you know, the idea was we were still probably 3 to 5 years away, because it's going to be a while before I'm starting to see, like, my godson wear a headset. You know, it's meaning he's 8 or 10. It's going to be a while before, you know, people are actually walking around with a VR headset. But I'll tell you what happened in the last, you know, 12, 14 weeks is definitely expedited tremendously that stat. So get ready for it. And it's wild stuff. Planning renovations, again, Mike's going to talk about Space Planner, but same idea. Our floor plans work with AutoCAD, so architects can take this space. It's accurate inside 0.5%, and you can really plan space. And we can look at the space. So, you know, when you're scratching your head and you're looking at a blueprint, will it? Now we can get there. So, again, just another amazing, you know, benefit of being able to be inside the space from a 3D point of view. Space planning, I'm going to skip because we're going to let the expert talk to that after he shows us one of the samples. This is so cool. And then just we have some virtual staging examples. So not only can we take your space online, we can, you know, make it look however you want. Now this is a home example. This was an empty new home construction, and, you know, we outfitted the whole home. What an application. We took a house from drywall for under $1,000, edited and virtually staged it. So how much faster are you getting to market? Not to mention the cost of staging 5 or 6 rooms in a house. You're going to be in the $4,000 or $5,000 range for probably the first 30 days. So now all of a sudden, you know, whatever it retails for, let's say it's between $1,000 and $2,000, and you're the home builder or you've got an assignment sale. And the minute the tape's sanded off, we can go to market. The ROI on that spend, I mean, I'm getting you to market 90 days ahead of schedule. I don't have to tell you. So again, just another way to really understand how you can take this technology and, you know, move it forward. So if I had an office and I was trying to showcase, you're all experts. You all know, hence why we're talking about virtual staging, that when I see the space, how it could look versus empty are two totally different psyches. So that office space I showed you a few slides ago, we could virtually stage that whole floor, and now we could show you like, here's your space and here's what it could look like. So now all of a sudden, you've taken this, you hear me talk in all my webinars about how the iGuide is a selling tool. Now all of a sudden we can turn it into a marketing tool. So, I mean, it's like switch hitting, you know? I was reading about these baseball, Tony Gwynn and Kirby Puckett, and these sweetest hitters in baseball history. And they get left-handed, right-handed, it didn't matter. Same idea. Now we can sell and market at the same time. And then this is really cool, like the full integration into the website. This is a large private daycare in Thornhill. And now more than ever, they needed to be online for their virtual showings to sign up students. And, you know, again, right in their website and their Google spend just went, the ROI on their existing Google advertising went, saw a significant increase, or decrease, I guess we call it, in their cost per lead, because they were getting a lot more traction through Google, because now all of a sudden they were sending somebody to this 3D world. So again, just really understand the limit, or the technology and the application beyond just, we're just shooting a house today, or we're shooting an office today. And then this is pretty cool too. And maybe, or Mike's going to show you the museum. The museum is awesome. And I think if, we don't have to show you. When we send out the follow-up email, we'll include some samples. I think these guys did a cruise ship too, which was pretty awesome. So at the end of the day, it's like kind of limitless. Like, it's so cool. And Mike can tell you, Planetary School, we're based out of Canada and growing exponentially across North America, but he's got Australia, Germany. I think there's something in Asia. So like, a cruise ship. And I mean, what a great industry. Like whatever they're called, the big guys, they just lost $4 billion in the last quarter and think they're going to get people on boats again soon. I don't know. But anyway, just again, kind of Cole's Notes, the 12-minute Cole's Notes version of everything that the space can do in a commercial setting. And I just wanted to kind of really touch on sort of at the macro. And then Mike, if you can go through, take 10 or 20 minutes, and if you can walk through a few of the samples. I know you're going to talk about the space planning, but really quickly, in between or after, just because I know there's a few people on the call that aren't our real estate agents, or potentially maybe not familiar with the iGuide. If you could just take 2 minutes, I don't need you to click through, but just at the end, before we talk about that other cool thing that we were just talking about, if you could just show the iGuide report as well. So that people, that if I'm a business owner, what do I get?
Sure.
Just for the links.
You want me to start off with that?
I'm going to leave it up to you. I got really good the last few weeks between Mike and some of my favorite customers like Anahai telling me to shut up and not interrupt you. I'm going to do what we did. We worked really successful after the second week. You're the expert. You know what everybody needs to see. I'm going to give you 20 minutes. So I will mute myself, and I will, if I see a question or something that's important, I'll come in. If not, I'll let you do your thing. And so if you can just go through the iGuide report, a sample, and the space planner, mille grazie.
Okay, yeah, and I think there's some conversation pieces here that we could talk about. You know, the samples that you've shared with me, as well, some of the samples you've done as well, that we can absolutely share. Hey, thank you, John, and to Realtors for having me, and Look Inside as well. I appreciate being back on again this week. It's been fun doing these I guess, webinars or Zoom meetings from my basement, which is the only way I can get out of my house these days, it seems like. But yeah, hey,
that's going to change. Well, you're in the city, so we're in New York region. So today we still actually have 30 or 40 people on today, which is awesome. I'm grateful because I know there's a lot of people trying to get their haircut right now.
Yeah, you and I, it's a little easier. I gave myself a haircut this morning.
Ever been happier to be bald, bro?
Absolutely. Hey, just one point to introduce myself, Michael Vervena. I look after sales and marketing for Planetar, which is the makers of iGuide. And I'll run you quickly through the technology on iGuide. It's just basically we have a camera system that John and his team use that you go into a home. It uses a LiDAR laser to measure out the space, and at that same time, we're capturing 360 imagery. That imagery and the laser data is tied together. It's uploaded to our team in all working from home right now, but starting to slowly move back to the offices in Kitchener, Waterloo. where they draft out those properties, and where you get laser accurate floor plans. You get measurements that are very high confidence in the measurements of the property that you're providing, the square footages of the property, and the 3D tours. And then we deliver that to you, and John and his team will deliver that to you in a complete package where you can use that to market and communicate that to your target customer, your clientele. So in real estate specifically, you're providing the information that buyers want to see when they're searching for a home online. And that's, all the things that are included in the iGuide. And I'm going to share my screen, John, and just want to confirm.
Yeah, I'll confirm.
You can see the showcase page.
We got you.
Perfect. So yeah, I mean, quite quickly, an iGuide itself, we'll let this one load up. It includes your branding in there, your contact information, your social media accounts. It'll include a 3D walkthrough virtual tour where you can engage and you can see yourself on the floor plan, so you always know where you are in the space. You can quite quickly move to those spaces as a buyer that you deem important and that you want to understand. And then that way you can quickly discern if a property is right for you and your family. And what we've seen is the top things that buyers want to see. They want to see property photos, which are also included in here. They want to see a 3D, they want to see floor plans. They want to understand room measurements and area calculations, the property details. And those are the top things that they want. Actually, now quite, recently, I think down that list, 3D tours was about, or virtual tours was about 5th down. That's definitely moving up in importance as we're dealing with what we've dealt with over the last few months, being locked down and being stuck in homes and not being able to have virtual showings, or even, not being able to have open houses and be able to walk through a property. The iGuide will also include all your other media. So if John and the team are doing video, it will be able to put a description to the property. You get all the room measurements, area calculations, and then beautiful floor plans that depict and show you actual sizes of the property, calls out what's included and not included in the total area calculations of the home. And these floor plans, which we're going to get in a little bit more today, can come into many different formats. We can give them to you as a PDF, as a JPEG, where you can put them in the photo gallery if you want to have them in the photo gallery. So you can put that up on realtor.ca with the photos. When it is included, and when you put that link into your MLS, into the virtual tour link, it's going to automatically populate realtor.ca with the listing, or on the main listing page. And you'll get an embed of the iGuide right in that page. And we'll quickly, I'll show you an example of one. And hopefully, it populates the main listing page. And I thought I had one up here, and I must accidentally closed it. But what that does is then it allows you to be able to quickly look at that property and discern if it's right for you. And let's see if this one here has an iGuide right in it. You can go in, and then you can include both your video, your 3D tour, and you don't have to pick and choose what information you're going to put in there as well. And that you're also going to get this floor plan button here that the home shopper can quickly open up and look at those floor plans and understand that property and that property size. How that's going to be delivered to you is in iGuide report, where you're going to get all the links that you need. I'll quickly just run through this, the measurements that you can add into your listing. And that's all the information that you need to populate and market your property. From that, you'll get iGuide analytics on every Monday, or you can go in and run that report when you need it to show your clients the information and how many people have been through that home, how many people have returned to that home. And then also you can analyze your marketing efforts to see how people are getting to that home. How are people being driven into it? And in Canada, one of the largest, sources of getting people into a home virtually is through realtor.ca is number one. Number two, if you've got a big social media following, or if you boost posts, you could drive a lot of traffic through Facebook as well. Quick stat, John, just to complement what you were saying. I mean, it's a little bit of an older stat, but realtor.ca, if you've got this enriched media content on a listing, people are 27% more likely to reach out to the realtor on that listing. So it does help you boost your brand. It does help you really drive and stand out from the competition on the listing as well. And the bigger thing, and then we'll get into this on Google Street View and whatnot, this enriched media content keeps people on a listing longer. I think the stat from realtor.ca was it was 18% longer on a listing on that listing page. So they're engaging with that property longer. They're looking at your listing longer. So you're getting people who are really deciding if that property is right for them, and then they're reaching out to you, more likely to reach out, and also a better qualified lead for you as a realtor. But that's the real estate side of it. So let's talk about the commercial side. So we're seeing iGuides being used in commercial real estate. That's growing. It's growing in terms of the marketing side of commercial real estate, in terms of a property sale. So that you've got a big building here that you want to sell, and this building has multiple floors that you can see, Suite 150, right up where you can actually go through and walk through the whole building and really understand if it's for you. You can go in there and take measurements, understand the square footages, and see, hey, is this going to meet the needs of me and my business? With something like this, you can also, let's say, now I'm going to I purchased this building, but now I want to lease out the space of the different floors. I can turn off floors, and I can only show and share specific floors with people if that's the only space that they're interested in. So then I keep security around the whole building, so I'm not sharing floor plans from other floors or where other businesses may be. And I'm only marketing this part of the property when saying, hey, yeah, here's an exact link for it. I can also, on the back end, I can only send and keep those links specific to the people that I want to send it to. I can make multiple links where I can put your name on there, and I can then look at the analytics and see how much time you specifically spent on that link that I gave you, and then lock it off. What's interesting about this is where we're seeing this start to go is in property management as well. So I'm just going to quickly jump into a different example here of an iGuide. And let's say I've got a leak in a specific part of my building. I'll jump right ahead here. Or I want to get a quote on a specific part of the building that I'm looking at. I can go in and I can actually maybe turn off all these panels here, and when I say a panel, those are these 360 views that we're seeing. I could just leave on the ones that I want to share with, let's say, a contractor. So we have building owners that are taking these iGuides after they've purchased them, and now they're using them for their day-to-day management of the property. So I've got for example, I need a contractor to come in and replace the electrical here and maybe fix the HVAC. And I want them to bid on the job. But right now, you know how difficult it is to get contractors in. They're busy. They've got pent-up demand. You could send this to a number of contractors and saying, hey, this is the pipe I need to replace here. I need this all cleaned up and done. What would you quote for that? You can go in and you can measure right on the floor plan or measure right in the space what that would look like in terms of that size. They can measure that pipe. They can measure the heights of the ceilings, and they know exactly the amount of materials that they're going to need and can give you a quote or a bid on that job. You can actually then have that iGuide lock after 24 hours, let's say. So then you don't have that open to the public. And now you've got a number of quotes that have come in and being able to manage that property. It also, what we're finding too, in terms of for property management, facility management, a lot of building owners, so the building owners and the facility managers, they're using these to state in condition of the property when someone took it over. This is used in residential rentals. I personally have a rental in Calgary that I manage from a distance. And I know exactly what the state and condition is when the renters have moved in, because I have an iGuide done of that property. The amazing thing is that I didn't have an iGuide a couple of years ago, and it was a really tough rental market. And it was one of those markets where people were giving away 3 months of rent, if you took over the rent of the property. I went online because I had someone managing the property for me and looked at the pictures that were on there, and and I'm ashamed to say, working in this industry, the photos were terrible photos. I didn't have an iGuide on the property, and the rental websites and search portals that were using it didn't allow for embedding of 3D tours and extra rich media, but now they're starting to, which is interesting. But I was able to put that property on that listing, and after it had been sitting for a couple months, I did an iGuide, professional photos. I had that uploaded, and we rented it that month. And realizing, like, I was so lost in the work from day to day of what I was doing, I forgot I needed to do this for myself. And once I did, it was amazing how it's worked. And I was just able to re-rent the property again using the same marketing activities, where you've got these rental suites that are across Canada, like rentfaster.ca. I got an example of one here. Rentboard.ca is now embedding iGuides right into their listings. And that's because a lot of real estate agents or real estate professionals are putting their rentals on there, and they've got an iGuide of that property, or building owners, same thing, and they can better market that property. So now you're getting that rich content that we're seeing from the residential sales side on realtor.ca, really moving over into the rental space. And it's an upfront investment, and it's something that I think, it's a little bit of a cost up front, but wow, does it help in terms of the marketing. And it's really demonstrating how to get a property to stand out online compared to your competition. This has been really fantastic in terms of rental properties. There are a number of multifamily residential companies that use our services coast to coast. They'll hire different providers across Canada, and they'll use it for suites. They'll put in amenities as well and have different 360s of amenities. And these building owners, these multifamily companies, can have the photos, the iGuide. They have it up on their listing. Once they've got it, now they reuse it every time they rent it. And they don't have to do every building in the property. Typically with a multifamily building, you're going to have one floor of all similar suites, and that's going to translate up to other floors. You may have some penthouse suites that you could do specifically, but now you have properties that you can go, and every month you can put those back on. Hey, we've got 1 2-bedroom corner suite that's back up for rent. Let's market that property. And we see the number of views that come in on these properties are thousands and thousands. So they're getting their money's worth, and that's why they're reinvesting in doing this. They can also add in a video. If they've got a marketing video or marketing information that talks to their company and how they are a better place to rent. It really is, you can include that in the iGuide. You can put this on your website. You can then share it on these other rental sites, which is great. And then giving details and floor plans about the properties. If you feel uneasy about sharing all that information, you can turn some of this information off, like the floor plans. But again, it's a great marketing tool, and the ability to add in the map, even with the iGuide, and then know who to contact, reaching out to the contact agent in order to rent that piece of property, which is fantastic. So just kind of jumped onto the commercial side and property management. We've seen before, you're gonna see people who have bought spaces, and this is a space in the Waterloo area that someone had purchased. They had bought the space, they took the floor plans, they were able to use those floor plans with their architect, because we give you DXF files of those floor plans. And by all DFX means is that you can import those into an AutoCAD. It's an AutoCAD format. And now your architect can take those files and really use those to understand the space. You would want to turn on the 3D measurements as well with this type of property, so they can go in and then measure ceiling, windowsill heights, and understand windows, and do any kind of extra measurements that they do need to do in the property. But you can see in this one, they did a stated condition as well. So they documented the property prior to the construction, got those floor plans, used that. They then documented the space during the construction. So this is the same space from the same angle, and they've included, okay, this is before the drywall's up. And now you can see where all the wiring's going, where the HVAC is, and really understand everything they did prior to throwing up the drywall. So if there's any questions about code or going back and they need to just show something, or they need to find where the HVAC was, they've now got that documented, and they can go in there and they can actually see, oh, okay, this is how we did it. What's neat about this part of it is, you know, for a big space, you don't necessarily need to even publish this data right away. You can hold on to this data, get John and his team to capture it for you, and then just do the after. And if you need to go back, then you can publish that data after the fact and save on some costs. But now you've got that data always in your back pocket if you needed to. And then what the final look is the property here, what we were going through. And to go back to the same viewpoint so you could see, this is the same view. So jump into, let me go back to the same view. So before, during, and after. So you've got 3 different iGuides that really document that space and really can show, oh, wow. And then this is a great marketing tool too. I mean, now you can say, hey, like, this is what we did to transform the space. We have architects and designers that are doing this to capture the data, to work with, to work throughout, and then demonstrate to their new clients, hey, this is what I did. This is the work we did. This is the type of work we can do for you. And it's a great sales and marketing tool.
I'm interrupting you only because that's awesome. So you can show me before and after. Just flick one more time. I know they can see me talking, not you, but you can control it. So that's before.
Oh, sorry, before.
During, and then after. Amazing.
Yeah. You want to have more of a walkthrough experience here.
Yeah, full screen. You can go VR, all that. So they basically gutted this place and turned it into a restaurant.
Yeah.
Amazing. I've never, like, it's really, like, I sit there and I tell people, I'll stop talking so they can see you again, and not because you got to do the space planner because you got about 8 minutes. But people, I try to tell people, like, you guys just keep coming with more shit. This is awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
So quick,
you can just do the space planner or the dealership. We're at 11:40.
All right, I'll run through this quick. You talked about Google Street View and getting more on your business, John. Having richer content on your Google My Business page, it just helps get people familiar with your space. It builds confidence in your business. If people are engaging with your space and they understand, what it looks like, they're more confident to come visit that space. They're more confident to look at it. Also, with having rich content like 360 views on there, they're going to spend more time on a listing. So when they Google it and they look at your business and they go click on, let's see, photos, where does it show up? It shows up on the Street View here, 360. So now I hit Street View 360 and I can actually take a look at their showroom and say, oh yeah, wow, this is these guys are top notch. They, and what Audi dealership isn't, but it really gives you more confidence in the space. You want to go check it out. It's a great way for the business to showcase themselves and really show, hey, like we are, we're a high-end luxury car dealership. Come down and check us out. So I like to say that, for a lot of businesses that want to build confidence in their space, and in spaces where you are interacting or you and your family are interacting, you want to be able to look at it to understand if it works for you. So I'll give you an example. And you could better talk to this one, I think, the kids child preschool, having the iGuide on the space so that when people click on it, they know how the layout works, how beautiful it is, that it's nice and clean, that this is where I'm going to send my kids.
That's embedded right in their website. All their Google sort of search takes, that's like, the idea is by the time the prospective parent goes through this, they're clicking, they're like, let's have us sign up. So especially now in COVID times more than ever, if they're having a parent and a potential student tour the space,
yeah,
they're not leaving without the check. Well, like it's at that point you're 99% sure. You're just literally going there to make sure it looks the same as what you saw on the computer,
Yeah. What happens is, and this is now, and this will tie into the space planning now too.
Perfect.
Where we have businesses now that are doing iGuides, they're taking that and they're taking those floor plans and like they're rearranging their space to meet the new codes, and even if the new codes aren't even out yet, how are they going to now use this space with the new regulations and restrictions in place? We've got multinational companies, Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies that are documenting their space right now with iGuides, and they're doing that right now in terms of doing space planning, trying to understand, and they're taking those floor plans and they're using different types of tools. Like they're using some more sophisticated tools that you can put into CAD, and where you actually have designers now designing the cubicles have to be this far apart. This is where we're gonna, we're gonna open up. I've talked to dentist offices now that they need to get special ventilation because, aerosols last in the air, I was told up to 4 hours. So they need special ventilation that's used in surgery rooms and whatnot, that air purifiers that are sucking everything down into the ground and through these air purifiers so that they can use and turn over those rooms a lot faster, because now it's, you have to wait so much time before you can go into each one of these rooms, and it's really affecting these businesses. So how do they better use this and to market it themselves and show it? So I'm just going to jump ahead. Well, and just, some of the things that people are dealing with. Here's an interesting story that it's a Rembrandt exhibit in Edmonton at the Alberta Art Gallery of Alberta. And they had a whole Rembrandt, exhibit come over from Europe. They basically opened it on March. They had to shut down and no one got to see it. So now they could actually go through, and you can go through and you can actually, look at the beautiful property, the beautiful paintings. You can even check out what's written about it as well. And it's just a great way to now exhibit this wonderful exhibit and be able to share it, and that they documented it. It's such a shame that, these museums, they don't make a lot of money. So they're trying to, it's a lot of investment and it's affecting these businesses. And so how could they do a tour? And I'll show you something later on today that we're launching, that you could even give a guided tour and take 1,000 people through it all at once without the lag that you're seeing that you have today right now. Gonna jump, sorry, I got a lot of things open here. And just talking about space planning. So we're launching an integration, which I've mentioned before at the beginning, I guess, in July here, integration with a third-party company called Floor Planner. So where some people are taking our floor plans and putting them into CAD, well, what about for the consumer or someone who's bought a house? We've even used this tool, as I mentioned earlier, for our offices, where you can go in, I bought this house, I got the iGuide, I got the floor plans, I can upload those floor plans to this third-party company called Floor Planner, and there's a little bit of a cost there. But now I can go in there and I can actually plan in my move. Hey, it's got hardwood floors. I want to have, my couch here. I've got, I want to plan out my move. Maybe I want to rearrange that couch and put this one over here, change the size so it works, it fits, see how that room works. And now you could design and plan your move-in with all your furniture, instead of sitting there like I did in the old days where you had graph paper and you drew out and you measured the house, and you don't have access to that house. So this is now the ability to plan your move-in, understand how much paint you need and how much the square footage I'm going to need for flooring and all that kind of thing. And this is a great tie-in to both residential real estate and even commercial spaces, and really trying to understand your space and figure that out in, especially when we're still dealing with, the pandemic and restrictions in terms of phase 2, phase 3, until things open up more. I ran through a lot quickly, John. Any
the man,
questions?
buddy. I'm gonna kill your. There we go. Wait, no, I gotta unscreen share you.
Okay.
Hold on, wait for it. There we go.
Okay.
That was great, man. You went through it all, and it's like you said. And I feel bad for you because you're in the middle of the city. So, like I could go get it. Oh, I don't need to go get a haircut right now, but I could, and you can't. So
more time.
You could probably just drive 20 minutes up north or west, and anyway. But no, you're right. Like, so much has changed. A lot of the stuff that's coming down the pipeline that we were, originally going to launch sort of probably in the next year has now sort of come to the forefront. So it's sort of been amazing. Okay, so just to recap, first of all, again, thank you so much to everybody. Lenita's been on, I think, every single webinar. You're the best. But thanks again so much, for everybody for coming. And Mike, thank you so much always for your time. I really wanted to touch briefly on the virtual showing things, but I don't think we have the time, but that's okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to roll, we have 6 more topics that we're going to roll out over the summer. So our summer series of Real Talk, we're going to miss a few weeks because of the holidays and that kind of stuff. So we're going to do 6 more series between now and middle of September, and then come back for Q4 weekly with another cool idea that we have. So we're going to send an email out after this episode like we always do. And Lucas is probably going to come out on Monday because it's going to include the all the sign-up dates for the summer. So you can put them in your calendar. They're there. You'll get all our reminders as we go along fine. But what I'm going to do, Mike, is I'm going to add one. And we're going to add it, and we're going to make it the next one we do because it's epic, and we don't have time to talk about it today. But as everybody knows, especially the agents that are on here, iGuide Planetary now has a large partnership with Broker Bay, as well as the ability internally through our own platforms to now host virtual showings. And I don't mean through a Zoom call. I mean, we have the ability, you get a link, you send it out to 1,000 people, they log on, and you just start talking. And, if I had a tour up, I'd show you, but I'll respect time and let you go. But just like how I'm doing with my slides, I'm walking through my tour, and you're all just there, open to the public, the bandwidth, full streaming. It's actually, I didn't swear today, and I almost dropped an F-bomb there, but that's how awesome it is. So, Mike, let's do this because that's a next level kind of application. And I think in the world of COVID, it's going to come on strong. So maybe we could do a whole, I'm sorry, I'm going to let you go, but maybe we'll do, if you will, okay, and then answer this. We could do a whole session on that and the space planning and get into a little bit more of how.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that what you were going to say there?
Yeah. Sorry. In terms of the virtual showing, I mean, Broker Bay's integrations through your MLS, you can walk your clients through multiple homes, and that's like the way to do it. Around North America and other places, like if you've got a quick call with somebody and you want to share a home with them or have a, specific, just quickly text them. I could text it to you and walk you through a home. You don't have access or control. Your clients would just, you as the agent have access and control, but your clients.
They're just viewing. So let me ask you a question. So right, it has nothing to do with MLS anymore. So we're talking today about commercial applications. So same thing. I can host. So we cover. My other business is the events media business, and we cover all these events. Well, now people are going to start to host virtual, sort of virtual events. So like your art gallery, as an example.
That's exactly the point.
That's the example, right?
I'm walking people through.
Nothing to do with MLS.
Yeah. So it's now I'm
an art gallery.
Art gallery. I'm the curator. I'm walking you through and giving you a guided tour because you can't walk through it right.
You're like one of those guys. iGuides by day and Rembrandt by night. Fucking Picasso's. And he's got Picasso's in the other room over there. I love it. Every week I learn something new about you. No, but that's the whole point. So case in point, the city of Edmonton throws out this big PSA, and next thing you know, they got tens of thousands of people and a professional. What's the guy that Robin Williams played? What's that? The person that runs the museum anyway, giving you the tour. So that's pretty cool. So that's what we're gonna do. Lucas and I will go through everything. He's been working on it. We're gonna update the stuff. We'll send it out on Monday, and we're gonna make the. We had 5 of our 6 topics chosen. We're gonna make that the 6th one, but we're gonna make it the first one. So 2 weeks from today, when we're back, because we're gonna miss the Wednesday or next week, the week after long weekend, so the week of Canada Day, I think it's July 2nd, give or take. We'll probably do it the next week because I think we'll respect a lot of people will be away that week, and this is very important. So that's what we'll do. So stay tuned for that. Mike, you're the man. Thank you. I know I was a little bit anxious when we first got started today because I think a few things were out of place, but you and Lucas always deliver and make, you just keep making me look good when really you guys do all the work. So I can't thank you enough for that.
Thank you for having me, John.
And thanks to all of you that attended, and enjoy the weekend. And for those of us that aren't Mike and don't live in the city, enjoy phase 2 if you can get out this weekend. Cheers, everybody.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Bye, guys.